ربنا أفرغ علينا صبرا وتوفنا مسلمين.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the 28th night of Ramadan. We're keeping the Quran recitation really short and sweet. Let's go over announcements. Tonight we just have a clip of the day from Sayyid Muhammad Baqir as well as Dua Iftitah, Sayyid Muhammad Baqir Ghazwini. So let me just review our announcements for tonight because it's all about Eid. Inshallah, it's going to be Thursday. And the two things to remember again are to be early and to keep your distance. I want to dive a little bit deeper into what that means. So be early means that you have wudu and you go to the bathroom before you come. That's part of it. The bathroom facilities are not, there's one sink and one stall for the men's side, one sink and two stalls for the ladies' side. So for emergencies, it's fine. They work. Everything is functional, but we can't have too many people using them. Carpooling, if you can. We'll also send this in the WhatsApp announcements group. But carpool if you can. The less cars that are going to be on the lawn, the more room we'll have to hang out outside after the program. And early is on time. So Dua Nudba starts at 7. The sooner you can get in, the sooner we can get you through, the sooner you can have a seat, and the less chance you'll have to be waiting. We shot a video today about the 4 stages of intake, and I'll go over that real quick. But basically, the sooner you can get there, the less anxiety you're going to have as we get closer to that 8 o'clock mark of namaz. The keeping your distance part is mask on at all times, including prayer, as we're indoors, and keeping our distance. No handshaking after prayer, no Eid hugging, no kissing, especially with the masks on. But I mean, yeah, no kissing. And then, and then once we're out and we're kind of distanced, we we'll be in much better shape. So just to recap: 7 a.m. Dua Nudba, 7:45 takbir, 8 o'clock namaz. Then we'll have some announcements, ziyarat of Imam Hussein, and then we're gonna get out. You have to bring your own masks, prayer mats, and muhurs or sajdagas. And membership is not required. So I think some people got the impression, maybe that don't tune in or just heard through other people, that you need to be a member to come to Eid or you need to have donated to come for the Eid celebration. That's not the case. The only reason we're doing the sign up on alzahraislamiccenter.com, if you haven't done that yet, make sure you click this button to register, is just for head count. It's just to make sure that we have enough space because we can't operate at 100% capacity. And so there's limited spacing inside the center, and it's going to be too difficult to do outside this early, this cold, and this early in the year. So that's why we're doing a sign-up sheet, but it doesn't cost anything, and membership is appreciated but not required to celebrate Eid. Neither is a donation. So just hoping we can get that word out there. We'll be more clear in our announcements as well that that's not a requirement to enjoy Eid together at Al Zahra. So we'll get a video of this again, but the 4 stages: 1 is standing in line, where we check your ticket, mask, prayer mat. 2nd stage is when you get under the awning. That's when you do a symptom check and health waiver. 3rd is what we call the waiting room. So once you pass that, you kind of stand on the sidelines until you're called up to be on deck to get into stage 4, which is the foyer inside the building, where we do temperature check, membership form if you want, and pay your dues, and zakat of Eid al-Fitr. And then after prayer, we're going to call rows one at a time to kind of stand up and then keep their distance and file single file on their way out the front door the same way they came in. There's going to be a food table on the right, a gift table on the left for kids, and then tea in the backyard. So that's inshallah. We rehearsed it today. It seems to work pretty well, and we'll have a video out soon in the WhatsApp announcements group. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do Dua Iftitah right now after this, and we're going to stay with Sayyid Muhammad Baqir al-Ghazwini because he gave us those great speeches the last 3 nights. There's a clip on loneliness, the silent killer, and how we can overcome it. So let's get into that after Dua Iftitah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك وأنت مسدد للصواب بمنك وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقما، وأعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أذنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، وأجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأقل يا غفور عثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وعثرة قد أقلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقتي بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها، على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه، ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في خلقه، ولا شبيه له في عظمته. الحمد لله الفاشي في الخلق أمره وحمده، الظاهر بالكرم مجده، الباسط بالجود يده، الذي لا تنقص خزائنه، ولا تزيده كثرة العطاء إلا جودا وكرما. إنه هو العزيز الوهاب. اللهم إني أسألك قليلا من كثير، مع حاجة بي إليه عظيما، وغناك عنه قديم، وهو عندي كثير، وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وصفحك عن ظلمي، وسترك على قبيح عملي، وحلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي. أطمعني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، وأريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك. فصرت أدعوك آمنا، وأسألك مستأنسا، لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك. فإن أبطأ عني عتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبطأ عني هو خير لي، لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلم أر مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك علي يا رب. إنك تدعوني فأولي عنك، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إلي والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك. فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه، وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى، تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له منازع يعادله ولا شبيه يشاكله ولا ظهير يعاضده. قهر بعزته الأعزاء وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أناديه ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا أعصيه، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي. فكم من موهبة هنيئة قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني. فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد سائله ولا يخيب آمله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاصم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الهاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وعمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق، ويطعم ولا يطعم، ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى، وهو حي لا يموت، بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى، وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين، عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، وصل على صبطي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي، حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم وصل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر، وحفه بملائكتك المقربين، وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك، استخلفه في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله، مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له، أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وأعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتذل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملناه، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغناه. اللهم المم به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، وأعزز به ذلتنا، وأغن به عائلنا، واقض به عن مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به خلتنا، ويسر به عسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجح به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، وأعطنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، وأعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا، وأذهب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق. آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآله، وأعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تعجله، وبضر تكشفه، ونصر تعزه، وسلطان حق تظهره، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صل على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
That one of the greatest dangers today that is threatening our physical and psychological well-being is loneliness. In fact, loneliness is coined and termed as being the silent killer. You know, today in the West, especially in the United States, you will find that loneliness is killing more people than obesity, smoking combined, and lack of exercise. And we know these three are top killers. Smoking and how that ruins one's health, lack of exercise, and obesity. Today, official statistics are revealing that loneliness is claiming more lives. It has become more dangerous than these three combined, which is very serious. Some studies reveal that 40% of adults, 40%, admit to experiencing serious loneliness in their lives. It is very important for us, my dear brothers and sisters, to be aware of the dangers of loneliness. Because loneliness does not discriminate. No matter who you are, whether if you're from the high class, from the middle class, from other classes, whether you're rich, you're poor, whether you're famous or not, loneliness is taking a toll on everyone. On everyone, even those famous people. In 2012, George Clooney, the famous Hollywood actor, he admitted to suffering from loneliness, from bouts of loneliness. He says, I feel very lonely, especially in public events. You know, you would imagine in public events, when you're out there and everyone's watching you and you're a celebrity, you should not feel lonely. But he says, I feel most lonely in these public events. Loneliness does not discriminate. It's affecting all types of people. It's affecting all families. And we need to be aware of the dangers of loneliness and how to protect ourselves and our families. Our children today are growing up in an environment that is conducive to loneliness, and it's leading them to depression and loneliness. We need to be familiar with the dangers. There are a number of dangers that come with loneliness, my dear brothers and sisters. First of all, it does damage to your physical health. Let's start with the heart. Loneliness takes a toll on the heart. It applies pressure on your cardiovascular system because it increases the stress hormone, which is cortisol. When you go through loneliness, the stress hormone, cortisol, is increased. When that is increased, it applies pressure on your cardiovascular system, and it applies pressure on your blood vessels, damaging them. It damages the heart and it damages your blood vessels. That's a danger that millions of people today are suffering from. It even weakens your immune system. Loneliness has been proven to weaken your immune system. It's very interesting how it does that. The way that it does that is that people who feel lonely and they suffer from loneliness, they consider the outside world a threat to them. Everything is threatening. They don't feel safe. They don't feel comfortable. Now, when you focus on external threats, your body starts to focus on bacterial infections as opposed to viral infections. SubhanAllah, that's how the body works. When you feel threatened, your immune system is weakened because now your body is more concerned with bacterial infections than viral infections. That means you're less immune to viral infections, and that weakens your immune system. Just feeling lonely weakens your immune system. And it also leads to suicide. One of the dangers of loneliness is that it leads to suicide. Now, I'm not saying that everyone who has loneliness is suicidal, but everyone who's suicidal experiences loneliness. That is the most common state associated with suicide. And do you know the rates of suicide? Every 40 seconds, someone in the world is committing suicide. Every 40 seconds. And remember this, for every actual suicide, there are 25 attempts at suicide. Meaning there are 24 more people in these 40 seconds who are trying to commit suicide, but they fail. Doesn't go through. Their plan doesn't go through. So can you imagine? Every 2 seconds, someone is trying to end their life. Every 2 seconds. We're talking here, and tens of people are trying to end their lives. It's a serious problem. Every suicidal person experiences severe loneliness. So it's very important for us, my dear brothers and sisters, to protect ourselves from loneliness. Now, what are some primary causes that are leading to loneliness? Being familiar with these will help us protect ourselves and our children, our families, our relatives from loneliness. One cause that we find, especially in the Western societies, is increased individualism. People these days are living more and more individual lives, right? You have less social bonds, less family interactions. The average person here in the West grows up not even knowing who his relatives are. Even if he knows them, there's minimal interaction. Even relatives like grandparents. You know, the average teenager here in the West, on average, talks to his grandparents 4 hours a year. That's the average. There are millions of teenagers that have nothing to do with their grandparents. 4 hours a year. Compare that to watching TV and playing video games 4 hours a day. We give our parents 4 hours worth of 1 day of our entertainment. This is one cause. We have become more and more individualistic, and that in itself is leading to loneliness. Another cause is postponing marriage. Those who postpone marriage and have smaller families and smaller children, as they grow older, they will suffer from depression and loneliness. Guaranteed. One way to protect yourself from depression and loneliness is to get married earlier and to have a bigger family. When you're 50 and 60 and you have children and grandchildren in your life and you've raised them well, that protects you from loneliness. But when you've delayed marriage, even there are some people today, they don't even want to get married. Sometimes I ask them, what's the matter with you? You're 30, you're not getting married. Why? Yeah, Sayyid, you know, these days people are getting divorced and I am afraid of an abusive husband, a bad wife. That's not a valid excuse. You're 30 right now, maybe you're energetic, you're working. You're not feeling the danger. But wait till you're 40, 45, and 50. Then depression will strike you hard. When you see you have no children, no grandchildren, your life will be empty. Then what are you going to do? Work is not going to satisfy you all your life. When you grow older, nothing satisfies you more than seeing your children and grandchildren. It just removes your miseries, takes away your pain and depression. It takes away that loneliness. So this is one other factor that is leading to loneliness. A third factor, and this is very important, and we need to make sure that we put a limit for our children. One driving factor behind loneliness and depression is our technology. These days we're hooked on these smartphones, tablets, screens. The more time you spend behind a screen, the lonelier you will be. And the more time you spend on social networking websites, like Facebook and others, the lonelier you will feel. Yes, there's a healthy limit where you go, you are searching for productive information, you are keeping in touch with positive friends, that's good. But there are some people who have the habit of just going through page after page after page and reading the comments, and especially your posts. When you post something, you're obsessed. How many people saw it? Who's commenting on it? What did they say? That makes you feel lonely. Official statistics are revealing this. The more time you spend on Facebook, the less satisfied you will feel with your life. And especially some people, they have the habit of comparing. I compare my posts to my friends and others. How many likes do they get? How many comments do they get? Being concerned about these issues, brothers and sisters, makes you lonely. Being addicted to these devices may have some benefits, but look at the dangers. Are we aware of these dangers? You know, these days, even in family gatherings, for God's sake, you're sitting at the dinner table and everyone's looking at their phone. Can you please put it away at least at the dinner table and just see your friends and family? See, we've minimized that human interaction. We're not robots. We're not devices. We're humans. Humans need social interaction. You need that human face in your life. You can't replace it with this. If you replace it with this, you will fall into depression. You will fall into loneliness. This is one cause that is also leading to loneliness and depression. Another cause is the inability to fit in, to be rejected by others. Some people have a difficulty, whether it's at school, at work, in society. They have this inability to fit in. Once you feel that way, this leads to loneliness. And a common problem that we have, especially in our schools, and we all need to be aware of this, my dear brothers and sisters, bullying at schools. Do you know that 1 in 3 children get bullied? That's 33%. 33% of children in schools are getting bullied. And 20% of students and children only tell their parents. 80% do not tell about the bullying that they go through. Your child may be going through bullying for years and you don't even know it. Your child may never have disclosed it to you. You have to follow up and look for signs and patterns to see if your child is being bullied. Every few days you hear in the news, a young boy or a girl, a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old committed suicide because of bullying. They couldn't take the bullying anymore. And today, because of social media, bullying has become just so much easier. Before social media, you had to physically do the bullying at school, say something, hurt the child, gang up on a child. Sometimes the teachers could see that. But these days on social media, who can control what you're saying? Every child today has an account, a social media account, and they're connected to their friends, and other friends are actually using this to bully them. We need to be aware of these dangers, my dear brothers and sisters. We need to take this seriously. Don't say, no, inshallah, I'm doing well and my family's well. Loneliness has no room in my family. No, loneliness is finding way to every family. Even if you think you have a religious family, they're suffering from loneliness too. So we need to be aware of the dangers and the causes. And that brings us briefly to the solutions. What are some solutions that we can offer when it comes to loneliness? Number 1, increase that human interaction. Surround yourself with people, especially good friends. Good friends and relatives, my dear brothers and sisters, are the best safeguard from loneliness. Don't isolate yourself, because naturally the human being, when he feels lonely or depressed, you know what you do? You isolate yourself. When you isolate yourself, you fall into this vicious cycle of becoming even more lonely. Initially, you'll feel uncomfortable. People who feel depressed and lonely, initially they feel uncomfortable. They don't want to meet people. They don't want to be around people. Force yourself and surround yourself with friends. That in itself will help you. It's very difficult. But once you try it a few times, you will realize that you will be able to control your loneliness. And make sure that those friends whom you choose are loyal, good friends. Not any friend. Sometimes disloyal friends, dishonest friends, bad friends can even make you worse. I had a friend, about 10 years ago or more, that I got to know him in Florida. I was there for a program during the month of Ramadan. And he told me about his very tough experience with his friends. He was very generous with them. If any of his friends was down, he would help them out. He would show them how to start a business. He would even loan them money. He was very generous with them. And he really thought that these friends were honest friends who would be there for him. He didn't pay attention that they were just there to use him and take advantage of him and benefit from him. He missed that point. Years later, things change for this brother. He gets into an accident, and that has an impact on his health, and he runs into a number of issues. He goes financially broke. When he becomes financially broke, after being very well off, he contacts some of those old friends whom he saved, and through him they became rich. He contacted them one by one, asking them to help him out like he helped them, asking them to give him a loan, to help him start a business again. Not a single of his friends stood up for him. Not a single one. He was hit with severe depression and loneliness. He said, you know what? I didn't choose my friends wisely. Some warned me, I didn't pay attention. Some warned me that these people are not really your friends. They're just there to take advantage of you. Choose honest friends. You have a genuine friendship with them. That way you can count on them. When you fall, you can count on them. Surrounding ourselves with good friends, my dear brothers and sisters, is very important when it comes to combating loneliness and protecting yourself from loneliness. That's one thing that we can do. Another way to protect yourself from loneliness is through generosity and volunteerism. This has been proven through many, many studies. You know, they call generosity, if there's a pill for happiness, it's generosity. When you give, there's a part in the brain, it's called the mesolimbic system. When you give an act of charity, when you give to someone, this part of your brain produces hormones that make you happy. SubhanAllah, look at the creation of God. Allah has made it easy for you to give. Makes you feel good. In fact, there was one researcher, he did a study. He took out gift cards and he experimented this. The first group of people, he came and he gave them the gift cards. So they received benefits. They got a gift. He wanted to see which one generates more happiness. He says, those whom I gave the gift cards, initially they were very happy. You know, when you get a gift, you feel happy, right? When I gave them those gift cards, temporarily, within the next few hours, their happiness increased. But then at night, he followed up with them to see their happiness that night before they slept. That happiness was gone. The effect had gone. It was momentary happiness, 2-3 hours. They enjoyed getting that gift card and then back to normal life. Then he tried a second experiment. He gave these gift cards to a group of people and he told them, go and give these gift cards to the poor. So these people, they went out seeing homeless people, poor people, just college students who probably, you know, don't have a lot of money, and they gave them the gift cards. And they would be thanked by those people. You know, they would get a smile. Then they measured their happiness that night. They saw their rates of happiness were significantly higher than group number one who received. Now, you would think that getting benefits from people makes you more happy than giving, but that's not what science says. Science says giving makes you more happy than receiving. And that's the beautiful system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Volunteering, giving from your time, not only giving from your money, but giving from your time, is the best protective measure from loneliness and depression. One study was done on Americans, and they found that those Americans who volunteered 5 to 6 hours a month, compared to those who did not volunteer, they were 5.8 times more happy in their life. 5.8 times happier, just through volunteering. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the month of Ramadan teaches us that, the spirit of volunteerism. This is one way to protect yourself from loneliness and depression. Get your family involved. Every one of you volunteer, give from your time. That helps you. You're the first person who will benefit. Another way to protect ourselves from loneliness, my dear brothers and sisters, is to travel. Yes. As they say, you know, traveling is food for the soul. It really is. And the best place you can go to with your family and children is for ziyarah. If you have the habit of going once a year, once every 2 years with your family to ziyarah, that in itself, my dear brothers and sisters, will play a significant role in protecting you from loneliness and depression. The Imam alayhi salam, according to one hadith, it's a beautiful line of poetry, in which the Imam says, travel. There are 5 benefits to traveling. One of them is that it removes your misery. It makes you feel better. It reduces that depression and loneliness. And he mentions a number of other benefits, you know, Gaining new knowledge, gaining a new experience, meeting other nations. There are many benefits. I see sometimes families, 5, 10 years pass by, they have not taken a trip to ziyarah. Why? What's your excuse? When you travel together and you enter Masjid al-Haram or the shrine of Imam al-Hussein or the shrine of Imam al-Rida, you know what that does to you? That, first of all, strengthens your family bonds. And through that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will heal your heart. And finally, my dear brothers and sisters, especially in the month of Ramadan, we are reminded that the best protection from loneliness is to develop a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you have Allah with you, when you have Allah by your side, listen to what Al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam states in Dua Abi Hamza al-Thimali. Ilahi bidhikrika asha qalbi. Oh Allah, through your remembrance, my heart lives. That's the life you get from your relationship with Allah. Al-Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam in Dua Arafah, what does he say? Ilahi madha wajada man faqadak wa madha faqada man wajadak. Oh Allah, what has he found? The one who's lost you. If you have the entire world, but you've lost your relationship with Allah, what do you have? Seriously, what do you have? And what has he lost? The one who's found you. If you have Allah, and you turn to Allah, and you learn to rely on Allah, that in itself will heal you from loneliness and depression. And we take advantage of this holy month of Ramadan to build that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya uddati fi shiddati, ya mu'nisi fi wahshati. Oh, the one who gives me comfort in my loneliness. Ya nur al-mustawhishina fi dhulam. Don't we recite this in Dua Kumail? Oh, the light of those who are lonely, the loneliness of darkness. Oh Allah, you are our light.
All right. So, if I heard the Sayyid correctly, seems like the Al-Zahra Islamic Center is going to solve most of your loneliness problems, minus travel. So, it's an opportunity to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's an opportunity to volunteer. Shout out to the AZIC volunteer forces helping out for Eid prep, and an opportunity to give as well. And then you can travel with Ahlul Bayt tours, inshallah. So let's cure our loneliness by coming to Al-Zahra. And inshallah, we'll see you all for Eid. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow as well. We're going to keep doing programs until the eve of Eid. We'll have a special program for the night before Eid. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And we'll see you all tomorrow, inshallah. Fi aman Allah.